Hi internet. I want to talk about social media for a minute. I have an experiment that I would like to do. I've been pondering this stuff. Social media psychology or whatever. It's just weird and intriguing. I like listening to videos by my nerd friends, talking about these things on the internet, especially like Chris Ware and Brian Lunduke talking about all the things. I think we're all trying to figure it out. Humans haven't done this before. We don't really know what to do with it. So I want to do an experiment, however, because I think social media is potentially, we've been talking about how it's inherently potentially flawed or just brings out weird sides of our little human personalities that we maybe don't want to be in that place all the time. But Twitter fights aside, because I can get cranky, but I don't have a super confrontational personality, so I'm not inclined to get into giant Twitter fights. I tend to just run away when stuff gets just cranky. It's just not fun. But I get distracted easily, and I feel like maybe the problem with social media is, or one of them, is just the tidbit angle of things, of like taking all of your thoughts and just squinching it into like micro tidbits. I don't think that's great. That's not great. That's kind of, I feel like it takes like a whole giant amount of potential creativity and like intellectual work and just kind of like reduces it to just like cornflakes, you know what I mean? Like little bite-sized bits, and that doesn't feel like nurturing to our creative selves. And I feel like that I enjoy Mastodon. I don't really post on any other social media things. But Mastodon's kind of fun because I can just put out my random nerdy thoughts, whatever I'm thinking about regarding my operating system, which is apparently all I like to talk about. It's not the only thing I'm interested in, but it's all I like to talk about on the internet, apparently. And anyway, so that's great fun. But sometimes I just feel like I send out tiny tidbits when maybe I have a more full thought that I would like to express, and I figure other people do too. So maybe like the blog is actually a more creativity nurturing medium for humans. Maybe not for everybody, but that's my theory. And there's something nice to being able to just say something spur of the moment and not too big, but maybe like a middle-sized thing, maybe I want to do a 3-paragraph ramble and then put that on a blog. But social media doesn't work with blogs, because if it's less than 400 characters, then whatever, there's only so much you can do with that, unless you're going to do like giant tweet threads that, I don't know. Anyway, it doesn't feel quite as good. So here's my experiment. I feel that the optimum thing is the RSS reader. I love RSS readers, and I feel that they are underutilized and underappreciated, and they're kind of underappreciated. They're kind of the cure to the internet. That's maybe a little bit of an overstatement, but I feel like they're great. So I would really like to see if I could find a way to, sort of make a list of all the people that I really am interested in what they have to say, and plug everything that I possibly can into my RSS reader, and use that. And then I feel like that's a really good way to keep track of things. And then if I have like a tiny little blog that no one reads, that's great. And maybe other people that I really want to hear what they have to say have tiny blogs that no one reads also. And if I can find out what those are, then I can plug them into my little RSS reader, and then that feels more creative and like real, kind of, than just whatever people post on Mastodon or Facebook or what have you. I really wish there were a way to do it with Facebook, because there are just like a couple, mostly family, a few things. And the dog rescue that I got my dog from, I really like seeing the little puppy dog updates for whatever their latest pup is that comes in and has a whole story and then gets a wonderful home, and that's just cute, and I really wish that I could follow those little stories through RSS, but Facebook is a jerk and they locked that down a few years ago. Twitter, at least, there's tweetrss.com, I think. At least you can use that. So that's something. And I found a way to do that with Mastodon as well. So I'll probably, and also YouTube. So I'll use those things in my experiment. And yeah, because you can, it takes like a gentle bit of URL finagling, but nothing too crazy. I'll put like a little picture of it or something. I'll figure that out. To pull YouTube feeds and Mastodon feeds. Apparently you just put .atom at the end of the Mastodon, like linuxrocks.online/users/username.atom, ATOM. So that's cool. That's easy. So I can do that, and then I'll get a little stream from my favorite nerd friends on linuxrocks.online, which is always fun. Yeah. I don't know. I guess that's what I want to play with. I'm gonna try that and see how full I can get it. Right now I'm using Aggregator. I can't say that in a normal way. As an RSS reader on Linux, on Pop! OS as of this morning, and that seems to work okay. I don't know if it's the best one in the history of time, but it seems good. And yeah, so I'm gonna be filling that up with my friends' ideas and people I like to listen to. And the moral of the story is, tell me what your blogs are, because then I can put them in my little thingy and then I can read juicy stuff. And by juicy I mean interesting, not like gossip drama. Yeah, and I think that it's kind of a tirade, but like in the modern world, quote unquote, there's just so much data everywhere, and we can, if we let ourselves, just be bombarded from every dang direction ever, and it's a little overwhelming. So I feel like it's amazing we have access to so much, but then we also have to curate our brains so that we're not just totally overdone and freaked out with all that information all of the time, and make space to like process and absorb and think through and have a complete thought instead of having like a nano thought and then flipping on to the next nano thought, and it's just like blah. No wonder everybody's kind of crazy. Yeah, so I think taking the time to like read an entire article that somebody wrote about their experience with whatever, like that's great, and then you can get a little more variation of experience and opinions, because it's awesome to get an insight into what different humans around the world experience. Like that's amazing. But when it's too scattered and too disparate and all over the place, then that's just doesn't feel healthy and cool. Anyway, that's my thought / ramble about these things. Okay, there you go. Have a good everything. Bye.